So before we begin anything, I would like to recognize the First Nations land treaties and tribes of Manitoba and BC. We would like to acknowledge that we are on treaty lands in Manitoba, as well as we are fortunate to be able to be gathered on unceded lands in BC. So we are across the two different provinces. I myself am in BC, and majority are in Manitoba, so we do have to recognize. There are 5 First Nations linguistic groups in Manitoba: the Cree, Ojibwe, Dakota, Ojibwe Cree, and Dini. There are 7 First Nation treaties in the province of Manitoba, with 63 distinct tribes in Manitoba. There's also the Métis and Inuit Manitoba, like Inuit nations of Manitoba. There are also 6 tribes and bands, First Nations of BC. There's the Coast Salish, the Nootka, the Kwakwit, the Belakula, the Shimshim, and the Haida. There are 198 distinct tribes in BC alone. So acknowledging territory shows recognition of and respect for Aboriginal peoples. It is recognition of their presence both in the past and the present. Recognition and respect are essential elements of establishing healthy, reciprocal relations. These relations are key to reconciliation, a process to which is great. While acknowledging territory is very welcome, it is only a small part of cultivating strong relations with the First Nations people of Canada. So now I would like to open the floor by asking Mercy to do a small prayer. This is not a Christian prayer. This is a prayer inclusive of all faiths. It doesn't matter whether you are a Muslim or a Christian, non-denominational, or maybe a person of not a faith, but this is just something just for us to be able to kind of come together and realize that we all respect each other as human beings. So Mercy, if you can just do a small, brief prayer, an inclusive one, please. Thank you.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, we thank you for today. We thank you for making it possible for us to gather together for this meeting. Lord, I commit this meeting into your hands, that you'll be with us, that you guide us and you lead us. Lord, I pray for everybody who will speak today, our speakers, our greeters, and our participants. Lord, may you be with us. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Now, the importance of Women's Day. When we think of Women's Day, we try to figure out what is really the importance of Women's Day. What is so significant about it? This year, Women's Day is being celebrated, and it is being celebrated different. There is a different motto for it this year. International Women's Day is celebrated all across the world so for social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. The day offers an opportunity to reflect back on progress, the progress that was made by women before us. It is a way for us to remember the extraordinary role of women in history in different countries. A day to show support for the achievements of women in various spheres and over the course of many centuries. The overall theme for this year's celebration is titled Break the Bias. For us here at Women's for Women, Manitoba's Women for Women of South Sudan, we are trying to break the bias the bias and the stigma that a lot of Black women, African women face. So we are going to be speaking on that briefly. So the struggle of us and even the success of us as Africans, we look forward to having you join us in this event. I thank you very much. I would like to give the floor to Elizabeth, please, our president.
Thank you, Diana. And I would like to say thank you to everyone, and you are welcome. This is a great day. Let us be happy and celebrate the resilience, the success, and the achievement of women all over races and ages, and a very inclusive even a little girls. So you are welcome. This is a floor to share with us. And I would like to acknowledge our guests, ladies and gentlemen. And I will give a floor back to you, Diana, because of the time. For those who are joining us from overseas, there are people from Rumbek, we acknowledge you, people from Wow and Juba, we acknowledge your presence here today. I acknowledge presence of Senator Mary Lou. I acknowledge presence of Dr. Jan and Dr. Lloyd of Global College. I acknowledge you, and I acknowledge also, I saw Akome is here, Mr. Chooks, you are welcome. And I don't see everyone here, but you are welcome. This is a great day, and this is a floor. Back to you, Diana, and let us start celebrating. Thank you. Thank you very much. And also, yes, we have all our speakers and our greeters. Mrs. Sadia, I think she's here. She's one of our partner and our friends. So you are welcome. By saying that, I would like to say we acknowledge also what is going on because from our experience, I would like to say we are standing with the people of Ukraine and the whole region. And if we can stand up and just to give 1 minute a silent to acknowledge the lives of the people who are lost and the life of the women who are also lost in all trauma and all over where there is war, where there is a conflict. The woman is the first person to be affected by all conflict. Back to you, Diana. I can't hear you, Diana. You are muted.
I think Diana is muted, yes.
You are muted. You are muted. I can't hear you.
Thanks, Frida.
International Women's Day has taken place on the 8th of March for over a century. The day is a global celebration of the social, economic and political achievements of women. It's a global event where people come together to champion women's rights, female empowerment and gender equality. Each year, International Women's Day is themed, and this year the theme is Each for Equal. The idea is to promote the power of collective change in the drive for equality. The first National Women's Day was acknowledged in the US in 1909, when 15,000 female workers went on strike in New York City to protest poor working conditions, bad pay, and demand the right to vote. The following year, the Socialist Party of America declared the first National Women's Day in honor of the workers. It was first celebrated an International Day in 1911 when Austria, Denmark, Germany and Switzerland became among the first countries outside of the US to mark the day. In 1917, Russian women staged a strike for bread and peace, protesting against food shortages and inflation. This strike led to them being granted the right to vote. In 1975, the United Nations announced the 8th of March as the official international day to advance the status of women worldwide as part of its commitment to championing human rights.
Her Majesty the Queen has asked me to form a new government.
An extraordinary amount has changed for women over the past century. Women can now vote, own their own property and stand for office. What more could we possibly want? Well, while many continue to deny the necessity of feminism, there's a lot still to be done.
What do we want?
Equal pay!
When do we want it?
Now!
In the UK, the gender pay gap remains at 17%. As a result of this, women work for free for 2 months a year. More than 200 million girls and women alive today have been subjected to female genital mutilation.
Tarehe ilipofika, watu wa jamii waliniambia kuwa nikeketwe. Lakini mimi niliwakataza, nikawaambia
almost 1 in 3 women will experience domestic abuse in her lifetime. And women's reproductive rights are still being challenged across the globe.
I don't believe in abortions, and he doesn't either.
Just this week, a new UN report that analysed data from 75 countries found that 90% of people are biased against women, with a third thinking that it's okay for a man to beat his wife. Meanwhile, a survey of 20,000 people conducted by King's College London found that more than a quarter of men think it's acceptable to tell sexual jokes at work. There are lots of things you can do to support International Women's Day. You can donate to a women's charity, join one of thousands of events happening around the world, and promote the work of other women. In Italy, International Women's Day is called La Festa della Donna, and people celebrate the women in their lives by giving them bright yellow mimosa blossom flowers that represent female strength. In China, women are also bought presents, and many companies offer female employees a half-day off to celebrate. In Berlin, International Women's Day is a public holiday, and in the United States, March is Women's History Month and the achievements of American women are celebrated. And before you ask what International Men's Day is, I'd argue that's every day, but it's also celebrated on the 19th of November, so you can wait for that.
I think just by looking at that, we all know that. I think by looking at that video, we all know that the struggle is not over and we're still fighting the good fight to accomplish more. I would like to give the floor back to Elizabeth to introduce our distinguished guest, who will be doing small greetings.
So we'll start with Senator because she is traveling and she just skip in for us.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I am very, very pleased, and it is with great pleasure for me to be able to introduce Senator Mary Lou McPhedran. Mary Lou McPhedran is a human rights lawyer, professor and activist, appointed as an independent senator in the Parliament of Canada by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in November 2016. Senator Mary Lou was one of the most influential leaders of the 1981 AD HOC Committee of the Canadian Women of Canadian Women on the Constitution Conference, the grassroots social movement of women across Canada, resulting in stronger equality rights in the Constitution. I welcome you, Senator Mary Lou.
Diana, thank you for the introduction. Elizabeth, thank you for inviting me. And I'm just so enjoying seeing familiar names as they come up on the list of participants. I want to also acknowledge, in addition to the land acknowledgement that you gave so thoroughly, Diana, that I am also spending quite a bit of time on the unceded, unsurrendered territory of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe First Nations, because that's where the Parliament of Canada is situated. I can never join one of the Women for Women South Sudan gatherings without thinking about the founding and acknowledging the role that Global College played then, and to express such appreciation for the fact that the Global College leaders, Dr. Jan Stewart, Dr. Lloyd Kernelson, are still with Women for Women South Sudan. And this partnership between civil society and an academic institution is a very strong example of what should be happening in more universities, not only across Canada, but around the world. Iraq and Elizabeth and so many others on the call, you'll remember that opening evening in the founding of your organization. And you'll, I'm sure, be thinking about the changes that have occurred. I'm also delighted to see that we have, for me at least, many new names. And I know that Women for Women South Sudan is stronger now than you were at the time of the founding more than 10 years ago. It's a very difficult day. I haven't actually been able to say happy International Women's Day this year. I wake up every morning, or if it happens to be in the middle of the night, and I have messages that are coming into me directly from people that I'm working with in Afghanistan and in Ukraine, and none of the news is very good at all. And I am really struck when I think about the founding of South Sudan and marching in the streets of Winnipeg with many of you to celebrate the liberation and the founding of South Sudan. And to think now that just yesterday, the World Food Program announced that of the 8 million population in South Sudan, 8.3 million are considered to be living in a state of, quote, extreme hunger. And that 5 of 6 of the 11 million are considered to be in a state of severe human rights crisis. So yes, the 2018 ceasefire was welcome and much needed. We know that it's fragile, and it really raises a key question, and that question comes up in the context of the Security Council Resolution 1325. That focused on women, peace, and security, and the whole suite of Security Council resolutions that have been built up over the years since the year 2000, when 1325 was adopted, to focus on the way in which women contribute to building peace and security, but also in times of conflict, where women's leadership is so very important. And it comes down to the practical reality, such as women must be at the negotiating tables, women must be at the decision-making tables. And yes, we have seen some progress, but for example, in South Sudan, as you well know, this is still a very serious problem. We are not seeing women's voices being heard. We are not seeing women's investment in their communities, in their families, in building peace, being respected, being integrated into the policies and practices of the country. And we are seeing one of the major drivers of the conflict and of the instability in South Sudan is, in fact, climate crisis. We've gone beyond being able to call this climate change. This is a climate crisis that is affecting the entire world. And the only threat that is actually more immediately greater than the climate crisis in terms of survival of humanity is in fact the existence, as we are seeing so clearly in the Ukraine crisis, of nuclear weapons throughout the world. Now, happily, fortunately, nuclear warheads were removed from Ukraine prior to this Russian invasion, but we still have 4 nuclear plants and more than 15 nuclear reactors. And we know that the Russians now control 2 of 4 of those plants. And we know that nuclear reactors can be repurposed to become weapons. And we also know that anyway, Russia is one of the nuclear weapons countries in our world, and that Russia alone has more than enough nuclear weapons to kill all of us several times over. So when we are trying to find our way as members of civil society, as people of a country like Canada, and negotiate for priorities, we can see that we have the immediacy of Ukraine, we have the ongoing desperation of Afghanistan, we have the emerging famine and conflict in South Sudan, we have what is already happening in Yemen, we have the largest refugee population being the Rohingya, probably soon to be replaced in numbers in terms of being the largest refugee population by those who are fleeing Ukraine now. And it's very difficult in the midst of all of that to sort out where resources must go and how it is possible for a country as relatively small as Canada to play a significant role. And I think one of the most important guiding principles that we can keep in mind and that can help to inform the engagement that we want to bring on these issues in order, in the case of Women for Women South Sudan, to make sure that the reality facing women in South Sudan and women who have come to Canada from South Sudan, because you will all recall that in the founding of Women for Women South Sudan, it was very clear that it had a two-pronged purpose: inside Canada and South Sudan. And I think, therefore, one of the most important guiding principles here is to remind ourselves and remind the Government of Canada that Canada adopted a feminist foreign policy. There are a number of other countries in the world that have done this. It was led by Sweden. And what this really means is that when we're making decisions about allocation of resources, about what it is we actually fund in countries that are in a state of conflict, that we do that through a feminist lens. And what we mean when we say that we have a feminist foreign policy, we mean that we have to recognize that particularly when conflict ramps up into becoming war, be it civil war, or in the case of Russia and the aggression of Russia against Ukraine, that we have to not lose sight of the reality that, generally speaking, it's the women and children who have to try to hide and get to safety. And generally speaking, it's the men who pick up the weapons and try to resolve through violence, through mutual violence, whatever the conflict is. Yes, it's true. We hear people saying that this has gone on for the entire history of civilization. And I would just suggest, particularly in looking at International Women's Day, that that word itself is very important. It's his story. His story. War is his story. And the focus on women, peace, and security, and more recently, Security Council Resolution 2250 on youth, peace, and security, becomes a paradigm that we can be using and we must be using in the context of a feminist foreign policy, because the resources have got to be shared and the planning has got to be gender inclusive. And the way in which we emerge from conflict, the way in which we come close to conflict, has got to hear from and involve and engage women's leadership. But that isn't happening on the scale that is envisioned in the either the feminist foreign policy or the suite of resolutions on women, peace, and security, and youth, peace, and security. And that means that Women for Women South Sudan and all of us, whether we're in universities, whether we're working in community organizations, or whether we're working in government, all of us have got a responsibility to ask the question over and over again: where are the women? And how do we bring them to the decision-making tables and the negotiating tables? So again, I really appreciate the opportunity to be with you. I'm going to stay not for much longer because I actually have commitments that were made as part of my travel schedule, but thank you for the invitation, and may the rest of the meeting go well. And please remember that I may be in Ottawa a lot of the time, but I'm an independent senator for Manitoba, and I really welcome these invitations and the chances to work with you. Thank you. Merci. Miigwech.
Thank you so much, Senator Mary Lou.
Mary Lou is fine, Diana.
Okay. Thank you. Now I would like to welcome Dr. Jan Stewart to also do a brief greeting. Unfortunately, because of time, because we did start a bit late, I do apologize. We are a bit constrained for time. So for each guest speaker, if you don't mind, if it can keep it between 5 to 7 minutes, I do apologize.
Thank you. I will be very quick and get you back on your agenda. No worries. Thank you very much for the invitation to be here this morning. I'm very happy and honored to be a part of Women for Women of South Sudan, working with this group of women and men and people who are committed to women's rights. Has been something I'm very happy to do with my time at the university. Elizabeth and I have been working for probably the past 7 or 8 years, working on trauma healing in the city of Wau, South Sudan, and also doing some work in Juba, and hoping to extend the work to Rumbek in the future. So I'm delighted to see many of you here from overseas and joining us this morning. The university is happy to be partnering. Elizabeth and I have been doing, with the inability to travel in the last couple of years, transferred much of our work domestically to program some trauma training and healing with the diaspora in Manitoba and BC, and working to sort of provide support during COVID through the Canadian Women's Federation has been a fantastic project. And I'm very happy to be working with Women for Women for South Sudan domestically. And hopefully now with additional funding, we're able to extend that work to do more important work both in Manitoba and across the country. And soon we'll be able to hopefully extend our work back to Rumbek and to Wau and to the other cities that we would like to do some work as well. So with that, thank you for the invitation to be here this morning. I am truly honored to be a part of this group. I work with Dr. Lloyd Cornelson, who has been a tremendous support as executive director of the Global College at the University of Winnipeg. His answer is always yes. Can we do this? Yes. How about this? Yes. And for that, I am truly thankful because it's been a great journey. And I think we have many more great projects and work to do. And Elizabeth and I will be traveling at the end of the month to present some work that we have done and some research that we're doing together. With regards to the trauma training, we'll be going to the Metropolis conference and spreading the word about this group and the things that we're doing and sharing some of the programming that we've done with others. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for inviting me this morning. I too am traveling later today, so I have to exit, but I will stick around as long as I can this morning. So thank you for having me here, and thank you.
Thank you again so much, Dr. Jan Stewart. I forgot to mention, Dr. Jan Stewart is the interim vice president, academic of Provost at University of Winnipeg Global College. Global College is one of the partner of Women for Women locally and overseas projects. So I know you keep mentioning that you're the one who is honored to be here. We are the ones that are honored to have you. I remember as a child, my dad used to tell me, strive to be something more. My dad was speaking about you and Senator Manitoba. I appreciate that. Now I would like to call Dr. Elizabeth Joseph Shedder to come and speak. She's currently working in the Office of Vice President, Honorable Rebecca Nyandeng, Dr. Mabior, Chair of Gender and Youth Cluster. She is a Director for Gender and Child Welfare of South Sudan. I welcome you, Dr. Elizabeth Shedder.
In many ways. And I just have one thing to say that those of us at Global College are so inspired by the work, Elizabeth, of you and everyone with Manitoba Women for Women of South Sudan. thanks you for hosting this and celebrating and taking note of what we all should be taking note of 365 days of the year, not just for the one day. So thanks for your inspiration and thanks for your work. We're all enriched.
Thank you, Dr. Lloyd.
Thank you.
Back to you, Susan. Not Susan. Yeah, Susan is our secretary. I don't know if she's here. So yeah, back to you, Diana. Diana is also of secretary of the Manitoba Women Forum.
Thank you. Thank you so much for all our distinguished guests for, even if it's short words, those are the kind of stuff that we need to hear as women. We need to continue to hear affirmation. Every day in the morning when we wake up, before we go to bed, we need to have affirmation. And even hearing affirmation from Dr. Lloyd, who's a man, giving us the affirmation that yes, we need to stand up for ourselves. Yes, we need to stand up for our rights. That is something that we need to continue hearing. It has to be from both women and men telling us that yes, we can do it, and to continue pushing and continue fighting the good fight. So I thank you for your time. Now I would like to welcome the distinguished guest speakers. I believe Arek will be introducing one of our guest speakers.
I don't think she's here. I don't see her. Is she here, Salwa? Madame Salwa?
She's not here, but she sent her her speech to be shared in case if she is not here.
Okay.
And you have it.
No, I don't have it.
Okay, we can skip that then. Let Gisela, Madam Gisela.
Hello, everyone.
Oh yes, she's here.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, hello, daughters, sisters, mothers, and beautiful ladies. Yeah, here is greeting from Rumbek. They are so wonderful and grateful women. Ladies are behind here with me, and they are also extending to you their greetings. So we have the wonderful evening from South Sudan, Lake State, Rumbek. Yeah, we are very glad to be with you this evening and extend to you our greeting and join with you this wonderful day, which we are celebrating the International Women's Day. So we are glad to extend to you our greetings and say happy International Women's Day. So I'm glad also to express to you myself. My name is Gisela Agar. I would like to let you know that I'm the only Director General in Lake State Women Lady who has got that opportunity to be a Director General in Lake State. So it is a great achievement, and I'm glad also to be a founder and a member in Manitoba Women for Women. So hi to everyone, and we are glad to be with you. Lovely evening from South Sudan.
Thank you so much, Gisela. It's good to see you. I greet you guys all in Lake State. And to all the women that are there, I know how strong women from Lake State are. My grandmother's from Lake State.
Yeah.
So I
Thank you so much.
So can you tell us the name of who are there with you? How many of you?
Yeah, I'm here with you, Mama Susan. Please come so that they can see you. Come forward so that they can see.
I'm Mary Adut.
Yeah. Mama.
Yeah, I'm Susan Philip. Hola.
I'm Yar Mawad. Yeah, we are not just celebrating as women alone. We have also joined with some gentlemen.
Francis Marwal. John Maluk. Hi.
Hi.
Diana.
Yeah. Yeah. You receive.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, since we have challenges with the overseas speakers, We will share a speech of Madame Selwa, but maybe I can give her a brief bio, and then we will share her speak. She wrote it down. We will be shared in website or any kind of communication with you. Also, before that, I think there is a brief video about the mask making project that has a response for pandemic that was done by the partners in South Sudan, WOW, Rumbega, and Juba. Is it that available, Diane? Challenges with the speaker, main speaker from South Sudan, which is Salwa, Madame Salwa Bakon. And also, I saw a message from Florence that our speaker from Nigeria also have difficulties with internet. Then we'll go back to you, Diana, or Susan, to introduce our speaker who is here, Madame Sadia. Thank you. And thank you for your patience, everyone. These are the challenges that women deal with, right? But we cope.
Hello, Elizabeth.
Yes.
And I hope there will be a chance for Gisela to give her speech. We will include, it will be inclusive of the face mask production and the challenges that women are facing here in South Sudan.
Yeah, I could share it if you, I think I can share.
We thought she will give us that feedback. That's why we give her a floor. But she just gave us a greeting. Maybe, yes, if you can share that info, you can share it, and then Gisela can give us a little bit insight.
I'm going to try getting it from my screen and see if it's okay. Yeah. So.
Or preparing it. May we hear from you, Gisela? What are the feedback?
Very good. Gisela is very ready to give her speech. We can start.
Yeah, thank you once again for giving me this opportunity. I'm glad to be here this evening with my team from Rumbek, Lake State, South Sudan. Yeah, first of all, I would like to repeat it again, a happy International Women's Day, because this day it means a lot, and it is very special for all of us as the women, especially we the women of South Sudan. And as well, we all know that International Women's Day is one of the greatest days for the women. Although most of the women are not enjoying that day, and most of the women are not well aware of their right or their day, that they have been recognized in all the world and given a special day. But still, we are trying our level best to let all the women all around the world to know that women, they have been recognized and they have been given a chance to have a special day that has been recognized for what they have contributed, whether politically or financially. So we, the women of Lake State, we are trying with all the hardest life that we are in, but still we can maintain ourselves and have that heart and saying, we are here to celebrate our International Women's Day. As well, we know that all the women around the Africans, it is hard and difficult for them to enjoy the goodness and the sweetness of International Women's Day. But still, with the hope and joy, ladies are ready to stand strong and fight for their right and enjoy the day, special days has been given for them. Up to here, I can just say a happy International Women's Day. And I would like also to show up what we have achieved through our cooperation with the Women for Women in Manitoba. Yeah, we have been together in combining what Supermat Women Development Association in collaboration with the MATO plus Women for Women, which we carried out the project of First Max, which has led some of the women to get the opportunity to join in and celebrate together. Yeah, and work for the project. Yeah, we have managed, Madu and Chupomat have managed to carry, to make a number of 5,000 face masks at that moment. And that 5,000, we have managed to distribute them into 8 counties of Lake State. And all the counties has managed to get part of their gift from the face mask. But during that production time, we have faced a lot of problems and challenges, which they were not there into our program or our management. So some of the challenges were over our ability. So during the production of the face mask, we have managed that women have got the chance how to get skills of how they can use the tiring, and they have managed also to get some experience in making the face mask and also getting used to a tiler. But also through that period of 6 months, which we were making the face mask production, so some of the ladies, they have got a chance of being supported financially with this little finance that we have got during that time to produce the face mask. So we have managed to let women at least get a chance in making a face mask, and then they get experience plus little financial support that they were giving. But after we finish with the 5,000 masks, we find that the time we have managed to finish, that was the time when the COVID-19 rate was very low. So at that moment, it was hard and difficult for us to get a market for our face mask. So it forced us to let our face mask be distributed as freely. So at that time, we managed to carry out our face masks and distribute them in free of charge. So during that distribution, also we faced a problem of transport, because transport was not there in our calculation or putting into our system, because at that time we thought that we will manage to finish very fast, then we sell the face mask. But during that moment, after we finished with the face mask, there was no any market again for our face mask. So it forced us to use whatsoever means so that we may manage to distribute all those 5,000 face masks in the different counties of the Lake State. So the only challenge we find at that time, it was transportation of those face masks into the counties where we managed to, we set out that to distribute those face masks to them. So it was a very difficult, and that was the greatest challenge we had at that moment. But we thank God, we've managed to control it, and we've managed to distribute all those face masks into all the counties which we decided to distribute those face masks. And also during our distribution process, we managed also to figure out or to target a certain group of people that were who they are supposed to receive the face mask. So we managed to give them for women's, our target group were women's plus children and the vulnerable group. So we managed to distribute those things to women's in their market, those who used to sell vegetable and who used to work in the market. So we managed to distribute them for them, and then we took some to schools where we can distribute also to the children who are in the schools, and also some we took them to the church, and then we give to those vulnerable, those people who are not able to buy for themselves. So those are the process which we use during the time of our face mask distribution. And there are some little challenges which we are facing those ladies who were making the face mask at that moment. So their challenge, I think some of them later on, which we figure out what the challenges they were facing during our face mask making, and also what are the challenges they are facing as a woman in Africa, or a woman in Lake State, or a woman in South Sudan. So I will give them chance, because also they are carrying some challenges that they are facing them as a woman, and they wanted to share them also with you, so that if there is any way for them to get any solution or to get any support or advice from you, you can also share with them those things, and that we know that that is the habit, or the only way that women always used to do to support themselves is to share their challenges and problems together. Then they find the ways out how they can solve all those problems together and put them aside. So I think later on, my ladies also, maybe they will have that chance so that each can figure out the challenges that we are facing as women here in South Sudan. Thank you, Elizabeth, and my dear sisters behind hand. Do you have anything else to say?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Madam Gisela, and a team of Rumbek for sharing that feedback. Because this is a greeting, we are thankful. We will just see, I think the small clip is up. And this is include the 3 areas, not only Rumbek, those of WOW and those of Juba also are here. And the total, the work that you guys done, I think a very great job. Thank you. because of the time, we are mindful of that. We will hear from the others of members of your team, Gisela, another time in a different meeting. But this is, we are sharing about International Women's Day and the achievement that you did there. This is the title is Breaking the Bias. So you are doing a great job breaking the bias down there. Thank you.
Yeah, so these are some of the pictures for the mask. That's the project that they did. You can see some pictures that were sent to us and were put in like our files. So we have kids here wearing some of the masks here. The women in a meeting here, I think. We are already planning when they were planning to. Then here, you can see them making the mask here. Yeah, these are all pictures. Look at them here. Yeah. Look at this.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Thank you. Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So these are some of the pictures that came in for us. I'm going to stop sharing right now.
Maybe can add something at least. I would like to request Dr. Joan to extend the psychosocial support as soon as possible to Rumbek. All the women in Lake State and South Sudan as well, they are all traumatized because most of their men have been killed. Many children have died from them due to this conflict. The hunger is too much. It is also a source of trauma. They are now committing suicides every now and then. The women and even the youth. Even yesterday, one person committed suicide, hung himself. And all these will contribute all those to trauma. So we need trauma healing, seriously. We are currently implementing it for children in the schools, but outside it is not touched and everybody is traumatized. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing
that. Back to you, Diana.
Yeah, thank you, John, for sharing that, because I think that is something that is important. And for sure, pointing that out is a good thing, because even some of us who maybe haven't gone to South Sudan in a very long time, we forget that there are those issues. It's not just about, there are so many factors that women for sure face, but you pointing that out, especially coming from a man in South Sudan, that's very strong. And I do appreciate that you pointed it out. Thank you for that. Now, because of time, unfortunately, we do have to move on to the next topic, but that is something that I am grateful that you pointed out. So because of time, I do want us to go ahead and introduce our distinguished guest speakers. We have here with us, I believe, our guest speaker from Nigeria, Benedine. She is not in, she was not able to come in because of complications with Zoom. And I believe as well as our guest speaker from South Sudan, Selwa, she was also not able to come in because of the same issue. So what I will do, either we can move forward. I could start with introducing Sadia, who is here.
Sorry about that. I was muted there for a sec. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Women for Women International Women's event. I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce our next speaker, Sadia Lekahal. Sadia is a microbiologist. She's a global visionary citizen and a global business woman with a strong experience in industrial networking. She's very much involved in improving the competitive positioning for women, and she's also very much involved in manufacturing. She has a long-standing focus on impact for women in manufacturing and in agri-tech. She's very active internationally, and she is always collaborating with several associations of women in industry, especially in Africa. She's a CEO founder of Imperial Industries Connect. She is also a founder of Global Women in Manufacturing Summit and Agritech. She is a speaker, an author, and president of the World Association SME. I would like to take this chance to welcome her. I'll give her the floor to introduce herself and speak briefly.
Thank you so much. Good day, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for this privileged invitation. I'm delighted to join you and celebrate together International Women's Day. Congratulations to everyone. Yes, Imperial Industry Connect is a platform, international platform with mission connecting global industry and create business opportunity for women. We work and contribute to the development and creation of manufacturing agriculture of the future with the intelligent, visionary, and connect the current economic society, human environment, and technological challenges of our modern sustainable society. I'm very proud, very interesting to work together with partner also Women for Women South Sudan to collaborate to connect above South country. Focusing on the impact of women in manufacturing and agriculture, I launched summits about to promote diversity and inclusion and in connect industry. The initiative is at improving and enhancing the presence of women in the manufacturing and agriculture sectors, sharing their stories, celebrating their accomplishments, with the understanding they will continue to face challenges. I believe when we support women, our economy and community prosper. So as we celebrate International Women's Day, we take a look at the past, present, and the future of women in business. The business landscape in changing COVID-19 pandemic assigned attitude towards traditional ways of doing business are changing. What's more, there's evidence to suggest that women are playing a large role in shaping the future of business. Many people are unfamiliar with the fact that the history of female entrepreneurship reached far back into the past. Most female founders are solving a problem that no one else was paying attention. Women are coming together to change the definition of what a successful entrepreneur looks like. What entrepreneur looks like, it's to change the mindset. There needs to be more focus on ambition, risk-taking, women leading their own businesses. Women also need to seek that attention. Whether it's creating workspace for women, such as sitting them at the right temperature and aiding rooms for breaking feeding, creating a marketplace for beauty and online community for business women, or creating a safe, inclusive community to gain new, authentic connection. None of these innovation would have happened without courage. Women willing the challenges, the status quo. For women looking to set up their own businesses, that the main challenges of often lack of funding and investment, there is unfortunately still hug and gender disparity when it comes to funding within global startups ecosystem. For sure, there is still significant progress to be made in this area. More needs to be done to ensure that women are not only given equal opportunities to start their own businesses, but that they also feel empowerment enough to do so. The more women own their confidence and ability and continue to smash down the glass ceiling, the more we will see the rise of female representation in senior leadership positions. But women need access to support as well as training and sources. In order to do this, networks are vital for making this change, making difference through leadership and innovation. According to studies, There are several ways in which women are helping to transform the business world for generations to come. Today, women entrepreneurs are distributing industry everywhere, from fashion to technology to finance, no matter what the of business women entrepreneurs are in. The trend of successful women can usually be tracked back to seeing a problem and finding a solution. Women bring a new perspective and skill set toward business that often helps make them better entrepreneurs. Successful women in technology are involving big time. They create mindful career, rewarding and lucrative thanks to the new possibilities. The internet, in the case education online, e-commerce, and the explosion of telecommunication are underrepresented opportunity in our history to restore freedom to the people and balanced life. So by bringing new innovation, as women gain more power and influence in the world of business, they bring with them fresh ideas and innovation, giving them more choice that's more relevant to them. There is also evidence to just suggest that companies are more profitable when women make up more than 1 in 3 executive roles. By adding a new approach to leadership, although the representation of women in leadership roles is still an issue. It has improved in recent years. Furthermore, women in this position bring with them a unique set of skills, of competence that can help to engage change. Women score higher than women on nearly an emotional intelligence competence. These include qualities such as conflict management, adaptability, and teamwork, which are all essential for workplace leadership. By helping with diversity and inclusion and diversity are still some of the broader issue in the world of business. With mentorship and coaching, women are able to help other women enter and thrive in the world of business, helping to create more inclusive, more environment for everyone. By changing social norms, as more women enter and succeed in business and the more female entrepreneurs create change, this social norm will shift. Women in business today are helping to bring down harmful stereotypes and challenging the status quo. So advice for the new generation, for young women, everything is possible when you believe it. But before going into business, it's important to know who we are, to define the intention and what we want to do and why we do it. You should work on personal development, be honest, be yourself, and above all, trust yourself and listen to your intuition. Have a responsible heart and a powerful and strong mind. You need to have vision, passion, determination, resilience to never give up. Knowing how to approach everything with empathy, flexibility, and good listening skills. So this is very important that we need entrepreneur. It's a culture to change minds. Together for the better world, it's possible. Let's make a difference, impact for positive change, more empowerment, more inclusive, more collaboration, and more peace and more love. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sadia.
With a pleasure.
Now, I would also like to give the floor to one of our guests. We have our guest here, Chucks John Odijo. Mr. Chucks John Odijo from Akomi. They are partnered up with Women for Women. I would like to give them the floor so they can do a brief greeting to introduce themselves.
All right, good morning, everyone. And good evening for those in Africa who are joining us. I'm very delighted to be here. Personally and on behalf of the African communities of Manitoba, Akomi. We have partnered with Women for Women, South Sudan, to implement programs, especially for women. We work to provide women who are relocating to Winnipeg with job training and opportunities to find meaningful employment. I also want to commend the work that Women for Women is doing, not only in Canada, but in South Sudan. And sometimes we do not understand the challenges and difficulties of working in resource-poor countries, where communication is poor, where there's limited infrastructure, and to be able to implement programs over there is a testament to the hard work and commitment of Elizabeth and her team. And I think it's something that's commendable. For me personally, having been in Africa and working in those environments for over 20 years, I understand the challenge and what it means to be able to coordinate activities, especially in rural areas. The other thing we want to also say is the plight of women, and that even as we highlight the challenges, we should celebrate these women who, in difficult circumstances, are still able to sustain the community. Most communities in South Sudan and in Africa are being sustained entirely by women. They are the breadwinners, they are the ones who are the victims, but they are also the saviors. They are the doctors, they are the healthcare. In environments where you don't have healthcare, you don't have social support, the women really are the backbone of most of our communities. And you can see from what they are doing, that once you give them a responsibility, they get it done. And so I would like, on behalf of the African communities of Manitoba, ACOMI, to say that we are delighted to be here. We are delighted to continue to work with Women for Women. And we will look for more support that we can give to make sure that we sustain this program. And finally, even as we celebrate the International Women's Day, it is good to see a few men here. I also hope that more men will be part of it, so that we can add more voices in breaking some of the barriers that men actually are the ones who fix them in the first place. So we should also celebrate this day. But in passing, therefore, I just want to say that there's a lot to celebrate, even though there are a lot of challenges still remaining. But the resilience of women, the commitment that women put to tasks, especially Women for Women, I think is worth celebrating. And I hope that at the end of today's event, we will not only just be highlighting the challenges, but we will highlight and commend the women who have continued to sustain our communities. Now for Ukraine and what is going on, I think we share and we understand the plight of people of Ukraine, because most of us have been through that experience. Most of us are also still going through the experience, because most African countries are still conflict zones. And we should all work for peace, irrespective of what side we belong. Once there's no peace, there can be development. And we hope that women are also at the forefront of peace. They are the peacemakers. I've been trying to research on wars, to see wars that were started by women, but you have to dig deep. And so women are really the peacemakers, and we need to advocate for peace, because like I said, without peace, there won't be progress. Without peace, there won't be development. And without peace, women are not safe. So I thank you. And on behalf of our committee, I applaud the work that Women for Women of South Sudan is doing. And I wish you a wonderful meeting today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chucks John Odija. I appreciate all the kind words and all the support. It is a very big deal. It's something that we do appreciate. So thank you for that. Now, I would also like to recognize and give the floor to Bird Tieng to come and say a few words as well and do a small greeting, a small introduction of themselves.
Oh, hey, hello. You're talking to me, right?
Yes, yes, of course.
Yeah, actually, I'm suppose I just be the guest of like I didn't expect to say something, but like I got the privilege to meet Aluk to me is like this morning because I'm a Hong Kong guy. Yeah, and now it's like at night at our side. We, or say I am one of the founder of a charity in Hong Kong, and then because of my friends, Frida should be also here too, and I got the chance to connect with Anouk and exchange like what we are doing and see if there's opportunity that we can work together for something, because we are charities in Hong Kong trying to promote international volunteering. That we have partners around the world and see how can we work together to promote world peace in it. The movement is called International Work Camp, that we work with other countries, organizations, and exchange volunteers for different kind of projects. Depends on the local need. And I'm glad to see that even nowadays, COVID make us stay apart, but because of this kind of sad situation, in other way, it also facilitate us to work in a different way. But we can break the geographical boundaries. I cannot imagine if this happened, say, 2 years ago, that I suddenly met a friend from another side of the globe, and then I get chance to suddenly share my thoughts in these occasions with many different peoples from around the world. It's actually amazing to me, and I hope that is that because like we call it new normal, right? This is another way of cooperation, and this is a flat to us, as there's many challenge that we are all facing. War is happening, COVID is around the world still, but also we believe in the Chinese saying, any crisis in the Chinese word didn't mean only crisis. It also attached with opportunities. So I think like every crisis do create opportunities. And that could be a hope for us to make changes in a different way. In a virtual way, in a digital way, or in a decentralized way, many opportunities. Africa is no longer just a continent that we cannot touch. There's many different ways. And I hope that as a Hong Kong guy, we are not just staying in our place, but we use our creativity to connect everyone in an innovative way and in a way that we all deserve, and that we can help each other make the world a little bit better and make our life a little bit happier. I hope to work with guys later. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bridting. It is true. It doesn't matter if we are across the world from each other or where we are. Definitely sharing is caring, exchanging ideas, trying to show a helping hand. That's always something that is appreciated, and that's always something that can help. So we appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, I would like to also recognize we have a member from CBC News, Aaron Brohman. I just wanted to acknowledge their presence here. So I do thank you for being here with us and taking time out of your day, especially early in the morning, to be here with us and just listen to what Manitoba Women for Women of South Sudan is trying to do and what we're trying to implement both in South Sudan and here, how we're trying to break the bias and how we're trying to uplift women. And being here also with our distinguished guest and our fellow members. So I do appreciate that. I would also, if Frida's here, I wanted to give her the floor for a brief moment to say a few things. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm Frida. I come from Hong Kong. Bert and I are from the same city. And then I'm currently doing master degree in peace building in Canadian Manitoba University. That's through there that I met Luke, and then I met all the amazing members, the Women for Women, South Sudan, and it's very privileged for me to work with all those amazing ladies. Yeah, I think in Hong Kong it's kind of like the gender inequality is not that much, and then we took it for granted. Yeah, and sometimes we complain that our women have to do everything like men, and then we still have to work, and then we have to do all the household work, and then we have to take care of the babies. And sometimes we don't think that, like, yeah, so it is very good that I have a chance to meet with everyone from South Sudan and from all other countries to learn about all the situations that other women are facing and the resilience and then your power and your passions, not only to support your family, but also to support your society. And not only for those African in Canada, but also back in South Sudan. Your heart never leave them behind. So this is really a very touching moment for me. And so and then now I'm volunteering at organizations and trying to see if I can make small contributions to work with everyone to see how we can unleash the power of women and to help to build a better society. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Frida. You've been with us for not that long, but long enough that we have definitely seen the efforts you have been putting. And I remember the first meeting that you attended and I was there. I was like, whoa, she's a superstar. So thank you for that. I also wanted to give Margaret Yanga a moment to also be able to speak and introduce herself. Miss Margaret Yanga. Hear you.
Yeah, thank you very much. As you say, my name is Margaret Yanga, and I'm Vice President of South Sudanese Community of Manitoba here. And we also recognize what Elizabeth Aluk is doing. Sometimes if she has some things to deliver to the community, she connects with us because we have a South Sudanese Community Center, and she has access to the key and she will deliver whatever she wants to deliver, if it is food items or whatever she has, for the larger South Sudanese community here in Manitoba. And I'm glad and honored to be, to have a chance to give greetings. And I'm so glad to see people from different geographical locations attending here. Already, although some are having difficulties joining us, but mostly it has been well with us today, and also with the great work of the MC. I think she has quite an experience putting in, and if someone is absent, like she knows how to do it. And I just want to say something about International Women's Day. And I would like to say a happy International Women's Day to all the women. And also in future, most of the women has been suggesting that there should be more men attending our International Women's Day because they are part of us and because they also have a role to play. for changing some of the things, you know, taking off the burden, taking off some of the burden of the women requires men. Because if we continue talking to ourselves and listening, just us listening, men will be second class receivers of the information. So we want them, because we want them to be first class receivers of the information, they have to be there to hear it, what we are saying with their own ears, so that it's not a reported speech to them. Whatever we are going through, what kind of, puzzles we are missing, where do we request them to play some role to make it a little bit, to balance the equation, And also, I would like to say something brief about women. And as a woman, she is strong. She's a fighter. That is how we describe ourselves as women. She's courageous. She's a blend of melody and sunshine. That can translate into a lot of things. Melody, like there is beauty in her. There is, something very different and special in her. And sunshine comes with various roles women play, uplifting each other and caring for the community when it is odd time. When it is a very, very odd time, they're able to do that. They're able to sacrifice. That is where the sunshine comes from. And she is, as a woman, she's a mixture of hurricane. Hurricane is, we can say hurricane is not something good, but if it is in a woman, you cannot underestimate a woman, because a woman can lay low, like, resilience comes with something, comes with change. A woman can turn things around. As if she's described as a hurricane, it means she has a power in herself to turn what is wrong to right. So it requires an effort. It requires a voice, bringing out your voice, speaking of something which is strange, if it is abuse, if it is, something wrong happening, if it is like abandoning your rights, that requires an effort, that is where the hurricane came from, which is not a real hurricane, which we talk about the weather, but it is inside a woman. She is there. You can't underestimate her. And she is her own self. A woman can self-sustain herself. And also, I go back to, she can do all this when there is a man, because people used to say behind every successful man, there is a woman. So I say today, behind every successful woman, there is a man. Because if it is a father, if it is a son, if it is a grandparent, when they're there, you see a woman comes up like a sunshine, because they are proud and they are confident. Their male loved ones support them strongly. And I don't want to say much. And I'm very thankful. I've had a lot of positive words from men today here, and from Hong Kong and from Akomi. And I'm so happy we are aware. We, the women and men, we are all aware, but we need to send the message louder. And thank you very much for giving for me this opportunity. And thanks again. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Margaret. We appreciate everything. So because we are constrained for time and our time is almost up, I just want to introduce the committee members very briefly. I will start by myself. I am the speaker of Manitoba Women for Women. I'm the second speaker after Susan. I live in the city of Vancouver, British Columbia. My career is, I am in finance, and I'm also a lawyer by profession. And the reason why I joined Women's for Women is because I decided for myself, if I'm gonna bring myself up, I also need to bring up I need to bring up another woman, whether it's my sister, whether it's my cousin, whether it's a co-worker, whether it's a girl I've never met in some faraway village. I need to bring up another woman, because when I bring up the other woman, I also bring up myself. So that's why I joined Women's for Women. Now I want to give the floor to Madam President to introduce herself. Elizabeth.
Thank you, Diana. Well done. You are doing great. And thank you for giving me this floor. As you know, my name is Elizabeth Luke. As her, my name being called Luke here. But also I want to let you know that's my name. You know, it's a lot if we want to talk about why we joined this or why we formed this organization. It is out of experience. I live here in Winnipeg with a group of women, and I was born in the war. I'm over 50 now, just to let you know. I was born, before I was born, there was a war, and I was born in a war, grew up there, got married, have children, until now it's still going on. So forming this organization is out of the experience, being a mother, being a woman, being a child in the war, and all, you know, we are thankful that I'm grateful that I'm here alive today is by God's grace. But many of those who were born in my time, they are not alive, especially male figure. And there is a lot to say. And when you are speaking about it, it might make you emotional. And that's when you hear things, other places that there is a war going on, it hit you. It hit you, it traumatized you, it hit you, the experience you went through, and it's just you feel connected with that area or with that individual. So that's how I can share a little bit. But if we talk about the story, why we are sharing, why we are in this kind of group, or why women come together, is because they want to find out how they can support each other, how they can bring peace, how they can, you know, keep peace among them and make the world a better place, not only for you and for all around you. Because whatever affects you in a corner, it affects all around you, and it affects all the world. So today we are acknowledging that women are resilient, women are hard workers, they achieve goals. Women are mothers, they bring lives, and women are peaceful people who want peace to be maintained in the world. So thank you, women, all who attend today, our guests and our group, our team. We are grateful. This is a great day, and I will leave it there. Once again, thanks all the speakers who shared their heart with us today, and we acknowledge you. We acknowledge, also there is one young gentleman here, I want to acknowledge, called Paula Wan. He is joining us from Cambodia. So I think all the world is around us here today, supporting the International Women's Day. I will stop here and I will give the floor for the next, the previous president of Manitoba Women for Women. I'm the current president, and floor is yours, Sarek. Thank you.
My professional, and why do I join Manitoba Women for Women is a very great question. First, I would just say Happy International Women's Day for all the women there. That is the day recognized to celebrate achievement and resilience of women around the globe, which is really great. Like when we had the first video, it started in 19th century. Now it's something going to continue for a very long time. I don't think it will stop in any time, and I very appreciative. That's where women come and speak from their heart, and they will tell what is there. Why did I join Manitoba Women for Women of South Sudan? We started this organization in 2011 before the country came out, and we had two mandates, as Mary Lou has said it before. Two mandates to start it at home here, because Canada, wherever you are, this is the home for us. So Manitoba is the home for us, and that's why we call Manitoba Women for Women of South Sudan. It's originally started from Manitoba. And our goal is to reach all women across Canada. And not only Canada, it could go to US and the rest of the part of the world. But why did we come together as women? Because we thought we have a privilege going to bed at night and not worry about what your child will eat or where to sleep. But we are worried about our sister back home. As we all know, though, in terms of education, women are really way behind in Africa generally, but particularly in South Sudan. But the war has shown to us how strong women are. When all men go to the front line and women left behind with nothing, but they will feed their kids, they will clothe them, they will take them to school from nothing to something. That's how strong women are. And if you can give a tool to these women, you empower them to be somebody, they will do, they can do more than what they're actually doing. And so we thought in many ways how we can empower women back home in South Sudan and to help with their children. And that's the mandate of our organization, to help women here. We also have some women who their kids are struggling to do just a homework or just to know them where they are. Because we know raising a child here has, they said, raising a child is the hardest job in the world. So it's not easy. The way we raise children in Africa and the way we raise them here is completely different. And it is not easy to really get into that system of how you raise children here in the West. And that's, these women have those challenges. And we call them, we ask them, what do you really want? What do you want to see? How do you see your future with your children here? And they speak from the bottom of their heart, what they need. And we will try to say, you know what, we cannot promise, we will not do much, but we will do our best. If it is a homework that you need for your kids, if it is tutoring you need, we'll do our best. I, as a first, I'm the co-founder and the first president of the organization. I don't see that I have done that much, but what I have done is to sow the seed that I hope that will grow really to be a big tree in one day. This is my hope for this organization. Now Elizabeth has come in as the second president of this organization. She's expanding, and we hope for the more to come, to do more. And we are hoping this tree really to grow big. I will be the root because I'm the, just sow the seed and hoping that whoever that come feed that root and water it until really grow to be a big tree, to benefit not only women in South Sudan, not only women in Africa, but women globally. As women from Afghanistan, they started, and we are seeing it, and we implemented. So that's a hope for all of us, for all the women across the globe, to help their women from where they came from, because the women are the backbone of the family, the backbone of the community. And for that, I would just say thank you, and I pass it on, and have a great day.
Thank you so much, Arad. Now, because of time, the committee members, I do want you guys to keep it short, 1 minute each. Otherwise, we're gonna definitely overlap, and we are already overlapping, so just 1 minute each. I will give the floor to Murphy, but thank you so much, Arad.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mercy Yale, and I'm one of the co-founders of Manitoba Women for Women of South Sudan. I live in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and I'm a vice president to Madam Aluk. And also by profession, I'm a legal assistant. And the reason I joined Manitoba Women for Women is I enjoy working with women and I like helping wherever I can help. And I also like, my hope and my prayer is to help women both in Winnipeg, in Canada and in South Sudan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mercy. Yvonne?
Hi, everyone. My name is Yvonne. I'm from Ghana, but I live here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. If you are still here and you are thinking like you want to join us and thinking maybe it is just for South Sudanese, no, I am a Ghanaian. We are welcome. You are welcome no matter where you come from. Okay, so I live here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I joined Manitoba Women for Women sometime 2 years ago. And the reason I joined the organization is just that I believe in myself. I believe in all other women. I believe that our contribution to economic, the world and peace of the world and everything cannot be like, we cannot underestimate it. So as a woman, I think it was just a good place for me to bring on board what I can do to help other people and also to benefit from other people, like all other women who are in the group. And this is just why I joined the group. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Yvonne. Gemma, Auntie Gigi.
Good morning. It's still early for me, even though it is 8 o'clock. My name is Gemma Ajir Morwil Kwal. They call me Gigi. And yeah, you better call me Auntie Gigi. I am a pharmacist by profession. I live in Vancouver, BC. And I joined Manitoba Women since 2011 when Elizabeth called me and says, JG, why can't we continue the work that we were doing back in Africa, in Egypt? Because in Egypt, we were involved, me and Elizabeth and Zainab Hassan Surur, now she is online here with us. We were involved in Women Voice for Peace. We did a lot of conferences. I travel a lot for these conferences for Women Voice for Peace. So when she called me that time and asked me if we can continue the work that we were doing back in South Sudan and in Egypt, where we were studying and where we were refugees, I told her, I said, yes, you can go ahead and form the organization with whoever women that are there. And I am, because by that time I was so busy and I was this Sudanese, South Sudan women, South Sudan community, British Columbian community president. So, and I was, since I was a president, so I was working on the referendum. So I didn't have time for that. After I finished the work with the South Sudan Community Association of British Columbia, Elizabeth called me again, and I said, yes, I can continue the work that we started. So that's the reason I joined Manitoba Women for Women, because it is carrying the same theme that me and Elizabeth were working on when we were in Egypt as refugees. We implemented so many things in Egypt for women. I actually single-handedly did establish some kind of a small clinic for women to come and have some medication. And it started small, but now it is big. Because I was a pharmacist student in Egypt. So that is why I joined Manitoba Women for Women. I just want to congratulate the women, especially this time of COVID, that we are now learning how to do these Zoom things, and we are learning how to do the technology, which it's a struggle with us, but we are getting there. We are getting there. You know, the guy from Hong Kong was saying something about if something is wrong or something happened, something good things is going to happen. So that we have that say too, that yeah, if something bad is happening, something good might come out of that bad thing. So COVID came, something good came out. Now we learn how to connect all over the world with each other on this on the Zoom, which before that we couldn't do this. Yeah, it was there, but not really used as a tool for meetings, and especially among us, with the women from Africa. So I'm really very grateful. Happy belated Women's Day, guys, because Women's Day is International Women's Day is supposed to be on the 8th. But yeah, because all of us were working and it was a weekday. So thank you guys for doing it, and thank you, Elizabeth, for carrying on, and thank you, Diane, for this fabulous work that you are doing. You and Susan are a good team. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you, and have a good day. God bless.
Yeah. If I've left anyone out from the committee, please do speak up. I believe we have.
And I am a member of the board. I am nothing. Yes. I am a member of the board.
Yes, member of the board. Yes.
Don't say you're nothing. You are something.
Yes.
Oh, thank you, Eric.
It looks like
it's
she's
always
not
coming
here.
out of my mouth.
Okay, so I have a friend here who is Lubna. She's still here. Is Lubna here?
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, you can briefly introduce yourself if you
Oh my
want
God.
to. Oh, not a much.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I'm surprised that Yvonne called me.
Oh my God.
I'm very surprised. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so I congratulate everyone on this Women's Day. Okay, I'm a woman from Bangladesh. I don't know you know about the country. It's an Asian country. Okay, and I am here in Winnipeg. I have come here as an international student, and I'm doing my master's in education here in University of Manitoba. And I have been a teacher for more than 10 years. So it's really glad to being here among those like I should say the women I have seen. I got lots of strength. Like when I have come here in this like in Canada or in Winnipeg, I should say, like I felt so helpless. Like, oh my God, this is not my known region. And then I felt helpless, and I met Yvonne, like one of you, and she's so helpful. And I heard from your institution, Women for Women, I got information like what you are doing a very great job. I just appreciate all of you. And I really want to stay connected with this with your organization. I appreciate your work. Thank you so much.
Oh my, we appreciate your time. And then we are glad to have you here. Thank you so much, Lubna.
Thank you so much.
There's someone too here. Is it Rebecca? Yeah. Rebecca, is she still here?
Yes, I see her.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, we just don't want to leave anyone out. So if you can introduce yourself to us, that will be fine.
Okay, my name is Rebecca Akon. I am from South Sudan.
I enjoy Women for Women in 2011. That's the time I enjoy, like 11 years now. But it's just first time today to attend the meeting here in Zoom meeting. This is my first time.
All right. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Can Zainab say something?
Yes. Oh, you're unmuted, Zainab.
You are muted.
Sorry.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening for everybody around the world. Actually, thank you for this opportunity to give me a minute to say something. I am not this active like Gigi's talking. She's just complimenting me and butter me a little bit. Life took me a little bit away with my responsibilities, but women and they're struggling anywhere in the world. It is in my heart and is taking a part of my being as a Zainab. And it's not only celebrating 8 March, it's celebrating every single day when every woman anywhere is struggling, is doing her best to maintain her family, whatever she's doing in and out of her household. It is something that we need to be really, really appreciating and feeling like we are not only, like they say in Arabic, half of the world. We are the world. We need to believe this, because look into any household, if there is no lady inside, it's not going anywhere. So just feel the strength from within and go and put it somewhere outside. Back home in South Sudan, I am praying God every single day about their well-being, about how they can do it with whatever we know as is challenging. So just let us keep our hands together, try our best, and feel like without being together, consider. Thank you very much. And I hope from now on, we will be celebrating more of our progress. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I would also like to give,
if Khadija is not here, we are over time, and I think we got one by our Zoom time is over.
Yes.
So I will stop sharing, recording.
Please tell me if it's okay.
Start from the beginning.
Yes.
On the 9th of October 2012, the Taliban shot me on the left side of my forehead. They thought that the bullet would silence us, but they failed.
I did everything in my power to be a good student. I dreamed of one day going to one of the best universities in America. But despite my efforts, there were still people in my life who told me that I was setting my sights too high, that a girl like me couldn't get into an elite university.
My identity is challenged, and my actions are heavily scrutinized. I am simultaneously silenced into shame while being expected to apologize for the actions of a small group of people. We all have a responsibility to challenge a growing culture of ignorance rather than justifying xenophobia and prejudice under the veil of free speech.
It is okay to be scared. It is okay to cry. Everything is okay, but giving up should not be an option. They always say that failure is not an option. Failure should be an option, because when you fail, you get up, and then you fail, and then you get up, and that keeps you going.
You know what it's like when a family struggles to make ends meet. You know what it's like to be overlooked and underestimated because of who you are or what you believe in or where you come from. And the world needs more girls like you. And the world needs more girls like you growing up to lead our parliaments and our boardrooms and our courtrooms and our universities. We need you. We need people like you tackling the pressing problems we face: climate change and poverty, violent extremism, disease.
We have this thing in minds. We call it perfection. We want everything perfect. We want ourselves to be perfect. There is this image in our head about everything: perfect life, perfect relationships, perfect career, perfect amount of money that we need to earn no matter what. Nothing is perfect in this world. We all are perfectly imperfect, and that is perfectly all right.
You might never fail on the scale I did, but some failure in life is inevitable. It is impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you fail by default.
Weakness, fear, and hopelessness died. Strength, power, and courage was born.
Now, I would like to close off by saying a few things before we do a prayer. I deem it a great honor and a great privilege to have had the purpose to vote of things to such a memorable occasion as Women's Day. Us coming from an African background, whether Ghanaian, whether Nigerian, whether South Sudanese, whether Ugandan, whether Somalian, living in Canada, living abroad from across Canada, living from Bangladesh, being in India, being in China, being in Taiwan, being in Hong Kong, being in the Philippines. Us as women being able to wake up and know that March 8th is our day. It is Women's Day. And for a man to know that there's a day to celebrate your mother, there's a day to celebrate your daughter, there's a day to celebrate your sister. You came from a woman, celebrate that woman, glorify that woman. If you do not do that, you shame yourself as a human. Biologically, we come from a woman, we should glorify her. So I thank you for that. To our distinguished guest that we've had today, we had to have plenty. We had Senator Marilou McFerden. We must give her a huge thanks. To Dr. Elizabeth Joseph Sherder, who is not here, but wanted to grace us with her presence, we also give her thanks. To Dr. Jan Stewart, with a PhD, who decided to come and give us some of her time, to lend us her ear, we also have to give her thanks. To someone like Sadia Lekelha, who has everything, who is still pushing herself to strive for more than what I can even amount to. For her to come here and brace us with her presence, that is something that me as a young girl still, I thank her for doing that, because I want to be like her. To have someone from Rumbek, my sister, Giselle, and all the mothers and all the sisters and all the women, and John sitting right next to her, also advocating for the rights of women, for the rights of his sisters, for the rights of his mother, for the rights of his future wife, for the rights of his daughters, I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. And we stand with you in Rumbek. We stand with you in Lake State. We stand with you in Juba. We stand with you in Wow. We stand with every one of the women and the men who support the work to keep pushing women, to keep making women great. I thank you guys for being able to have Mr. Chucks John Odijo coming and being here with us. Even if he sees maybe it's not a big thing, I thank you. I humbly thank you for being here, maybe as a big brother, as a father, as a son, to also push for women. And I can tell maybe you're West African, if I'm correct?
Right.
Yes.
You're right, Nigeria.
Yes. Nigeria, for standing with us, to have a Nigerian standing with us, women of South Sudan, women of Africa, women of Asia, women of North America, to stand with us and humble us with your presence, I thank you greatly. To have Mr. Bird Tang, all the way from Hong Kong. When we think of Hong Kong, we think of high-rise buildings. We think of infrastructure. We think of great economics. We think of businesses. We think of people who are really, really high standard. But for him to take time out of his day and also grace us with his presence, I humbly, humbly thank you. To have guests such as, I have to call her Auntie Zainab. I can't call her Zainab. I feel weird. I know her from Vancouver, so I have to call her Auntie Zainab. I'm sorry. To have Auntie Zainab here and also grace us with her presence, I appreciate that. Because it takes an auntie like that also to say, hey, you can do it. Put your pen to a paper. You can do it. I thank you for that. To have also another big sister or Auntie Margaret Younger for being here with us and to encourage us and to tell us behind every strong woman, there's a strong man behind her. It's not just the man needs a woman behind, or maybe even it's a man and a woman standing side by side. I thank you for that. To have also Frida, I mentioned before, you are making a big change in Manitoba Women for Women. You might not notice it, but I notice it. I noticed it on the first day I got to meet you. It's a huge change. So I thank you, and I thank you, and I thank you. They always say 2 heads are better than 1. If we can add a 15th head, a 16th head, a 30th, a 100 into Women for Women of Manitoba to keep pushing us into greatness, I thank you for that. And also, I don't want to leave anyone out. For our board members, our committee members, Yvonne, I see you. Khadija, I see you. Michelle, who's not here right now, and Susan and Florence, I see you, I hear you, and I thank you. Mercy, I thank you. I thank you for everything. For us having a rec, she was the root. You drop a seed, that's a rec. She was the seed that got dropped. Not dropped by accident, she was dropped by God. Doesn't matter what denomination, doesn't matter what religion we are, she was the seed that was dropped by a creator. And then it grew. It grew to our Madam President, Elizabeth. And it just kept growing and growing and growing. Right now, I'm that little leaf that's just hanging like this, but I'm there. And it started with a rec. And I thank you. And now it's going to Elizabeth, Madam President Elizabeth, and I thank you. That strong foundation, that strong root. For me, as someone who is the age of 35, to see someone older than me being as wise, as solid. When I look at both Madam Presidents, Erek and Elizabeth, I see a solid foundation. That tree cannot be shaken. That tree cannot be cut down. Even if you cut it down, that's a stump. You're gonna have to bring a whole truck to remove that stump. It cannot be removed. So I thank you, and I thank you, and I thank you. For Auntie Gigi, I thank you. You know you have my heart. I thank you for always being that woman that walked around to all the girls in BC and said, pen to paper, pen to paper, pen to paper. I have a mufraga, pen to paper. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. And to everyone else that is here, I say two things. The greatest glory in life is never in not falling, but in rising every time we fall. Let me repeat that again. The greatest glory in life is not in never falling, but is rising every single time we fall. And I also see that we had a guest speaker, one of our members, someone that came to visit from Bangladesh was here. I forgot her name, but also I thank her, and I thank also Rebecca Okon, even if they said something very briefly, and Intisar Muhammad and to Shane Johnson, I thank them for being here. Another thing I wanted to say is, for every woman out there and for every man that is here, tell your daughters, fear nothing but fear itself. Fear nothing but fear itself. This is something that my father repeated to me ever since I was 7 or 8 years old. I used to look at my father as if he was maybe a madman, just a very strict, typical Sudanese father who was books, 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 books. And I was like, I don't understand. But now I thank him for saying that. I used to fail in math. I used to fail in English. I had a hard time moving from South Sudan, moving to Saudi Arabia, from Saudi Arabia, coming to Canada. But at the end of the day, now when I look back, pen to paper, and the quote of fear nothing but fear itself saved me from me, saved me as a woman. So all of you guys, when you look at yourself in the mirror, look at yourself in the mirror, you are Princess Diana. You are Margaret Thatcher. You are Winnie Mandela. You are Oprah Winfrey. You are Rosa Parks. You are the wife of the great Martin Luther King. You are the wife of the great Malcolm X. You are. And most importantly, you are you, and that is more than anything. So that's all I wanted to say. That's my closing statement. I thank you, and we should close with a prayer. Mercy, if you can help us with that. Thank you.
Let's all give her a round of big applause. She did a great job as MC.
Thank you very much, Diana. There is no word to express how well you did, and the expression and the conclusion. Thank you very much. I would like to acknowledge or to say something. Zainab Asansuru. I'm so sorry I couldn't get you. I've been distracted here, managing multitasking. But lady, thank you. This is a great day to, to show yourself after many years.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now, we'll talk outside of this.
Absolutely.
But it's great to see you here.
The same here. Thank you.
Also, there is someone who just came in, Gary Sanford. Mr. Gary.
Hello, greetings.
Done, but you have a chance just to come in before we close it with a prayer.
Well, thank you. I'm really pleased to be here, and very supportive of the organizations that you're involved with, and look forward to walking hand in hand with you as we go through these strange times in our world. And a prayer is very important. So I look forward to that.
Thank you very much. Since we are already done everything, our speakers, guest speaker, guest greeters, all things being done. If you want to say something, at first I would like to introduce you to those who are here. Many of them left, but we have a few people here. Mr. Gary is one of our good friends, first. And he knows us since a long time, and he is one of my advisor or woman for woman advisor. If we have anything need to be, and his background, he is a lawyer, he will talk about that. And he is the chair board for MCIC, which is our a great partner for overseas little grant that we do some project with it. So if you would like to say something more about that, Mr. Gary, 2 to 3 minutes, and then we will close. You are welcome. You got that.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Well, I mentioned these are strange times, very difficult. So it's just very heartening to see people come together, think about each other, treat each other as neighbors, and do all we can to help the individual human excel, whatever their background, whatever their capabilities are. So the Manitoba Council for International Cooperation, as Elizabeth mentioned, is supportive of all the work that you're doing. I would also mention the Conflict and Resilience Research Institute of Canada, Dr. Kauser Admin. He is very supportive and works hard on peace building through conflicts and resolution type work. So there are lots of people, joining together in the world to try to make it a better place and to make Winnipeg a good home, for everyone, and for, Winnipeggers through our Canadian Museum and otherwise, to go back to other lands as well and see if we can provide some comfort there. And prayer, as Elizabeth mentioned, is so important in all we do. Even if you're not spiritual, you can take that moment to think of others and convey those good thoughts, because it certainly is a time in our history, maybe even an inflection point where we have to really work hard together. So thank you, Elizabeth, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you very much. Now back to you, Diane.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for standing with Women for Women of Manitoba, and for just being there, and also for all the kind words. I do appreciate that. Thank you. So we could do a closing. We could do a closing prayer that is also inclusive. Mercy, if you can do that for us.
Okay, let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you once again for our meeting today. We thank you for everybody that has participated today in our meeting. May you bless everybody. We even thank you for our organization. We thank you for the far that you have brought us and for the far that you're gonna take us in the future. We commit everything into your hands, and I pray for everybody, Lord, that is here today. May you bless us. May you bless us for the remaining of the day. For those who it's in the evening, may you give them a good evening. And Lord, we thank you and we glorify your holy name. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.